Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the New Mutants trailer that just dropped. This is a new film, or this is a film that I already knew that was happening, but I thought it just wasn't going to be released in theaters for whatever reason, just because 21st Century Fox just sold all their entertainment properties to Disney. So I thought this movie was kind of just not going to be released until like some point in the future where they're just like, yeah, we'll just put it on our streaming service or something like that. So I was very surprised to find out that a new trailer had dropped for it. I had seen the original one, I think like a year ago, or maybe even more than that. I'm not really sure. But I was excited at the time just to see how it was, because it didn't really seem to be connected to the rest of the MCU. Or, not the MCU, the rest of the Fox properties of the X-Men. Because it was like all new characters, it was a horror film, and things like that. So it seemed to be kind of its own thing, off in its own little bubble. And so I'm kind of excited just to see how a horror genre film fits into like a superhero world. But I'm not really sure if this is going to be considered an MCU film at this point, or if it's going to be considered part of the MCU, or if it's just going to be its own little thing for fans who wanted to see it initially. I'm not really sure. But the big things with this is I now know, which I did not know initially, the main characters of the film, like who they're playing. I saw like Maisie Williams in there. That's kind of how I knew that this was the same film when I watched it. But she plays, I believe, Mirage? No. She plays Wolfsbane. Or Wolfsbane. Yeah. She plays Wolfsbane, who is like a character who can turn into a wolf. There's Mirage, who can create like illusions and stuff. And then the three that I already knew like as characters outside of this film, like by name, were Sunspot, Cannonball, and Magic. Sunspot kind of becomes a giant like fireball, kind of like the Human Torch is who I would say he's like most like. Cannonball can kind of shoot himself in any direction, and while he's moving, he's invulnerable for that moment. And then Magic is the younger sister to Colossus, who has like a bunch of different magical based powers. I'm not really sure exactly how her powers work. She has like a weird like sword and armor and stuff like that pops out, but I don't know too much about how her character's abilities work either. But specifically for Cannonball and Sunspot, I already knew these characters from like some old X-Men TV shows that I watched when I was younger, so it's going to be interesting to actually see them on screen and in a horror film of all things. In regards to the actual main villain, I did not know this character existed at all, but he's called Demon Bear, and he feeds off negative emotions. That's pretty much the extent of my knowledge on this character, but I think it's going to be interesting to see because, I mean, that kind of fits in with the whole horror film element of this. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with this. Whether or not it's in the MCU, we're just going to have to wait and see, I guess, as to whether or not Kevin Feige or anyone else from Disney wants to comment on this in the future, but I'm honestly not sure about that. For me personally, I think it could be cool. It could be a very interesting introduction to these characters if they just put them in to the MCU through a horror film. Especially because they're trying to add horror for Doctor Strange. The new film that they're doing for that is going to be like the first horror film that they themselves are producing, but this could also be an interesting and new avenue to introduce the X-Men characters. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say about this. I believe this film's coming out next year, or no, this year, because it's 2020. I believe it's coming out at some point this year. I don't know exactly when, but I will definitely be sure to check it out. Whether or not it's in the MCU, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm definitely excited. I think it would be cool to see this in the MCU, but I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. Do you guys want this film in the MCU? Do you even really care about these characters? Probably not, because they're not that well known, but are you interested to see how mutants might potentially be introduced in the MCU? Let me know below, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!